Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people, theys, thems, and theirs, and ers, and eyes, and ears. Welcome back to another film review, and today we are reviewing a Netflix film called The Electric State. Now, to anyone wondering what this film is about, well, so far from what I've gathered of what I've watched of this film, I can only presume this film is about the use of technology and how humans become slaves to themselves. Follow a young girl and her brother who are really, really close. Suddenly, there is a car accident and their whole world is turned upside down. She is left alone, and her brother is thought to be dead. After having a really rough day at school, she decides to go on a venture after a robot who claims to be her brother has broken into her house. A pair of them escape off and try searching for an X zone, a zone so dangerous that no one dare enter it after the great cyber wars. Not wars, but these are wars between the robots, the human beings. As the story progresses, we learn that the human beings have come up with a device that's supposed to put robots in check. But, of course, the robots have all been locked in this one zone away from everyone, as they are seen too dangerous to be allowed anywhere near people's homes. Truth of the matter turns out that a scientist has basically used this weapon against them and has outlawed them completely. The young girl who we mentioned earlier comes into contact with a kind of rogue sort of Han Solo sort of character. They go on a mission to save her brother from whatever nefarious plot's going on. And on the way, they pick up a few friends, even meet Mr. Peanut. In context to anyone who doesn't know who Mr. Peanut is, he was a very popular character who was placed on peanut bags for years. So every time everyone would go and buy a peanut, they'd get a Mr. Peanut, a guy that looks like a peanut with a top hat. Lots of robots are lost in the end of this film. Rest in peace. And along the way, we find that she doesn't manage to save her dying brother from this machine he's been hooked into to allow him to become the robot. And so she presumes him to be dead, but little does she know he survives in the robot's consciousness. That's enough babbling about the plot, but what did I actually think of this film? Well, at first, I kind of thought it was pretty good. I like the jokes, I like the witty humour. I love the idea that robots and humanity have kind of had this falling out. How robots believe if you chuck away a toaster, it is murder. But saying that at the same time, I do kind of have a problem with the plot of this story. I get where they were going. I can see what direction they were heading. They were trying to do this whole save my family type of story. But my question is, to what end? Because I felt like at the end of the film, I really felt very lost. I didn't feel any resolution. I didn't feel like we'd achieved anything. The only thing I feel like we achieved is the fact that the robots had overpowered the humans. Not just saying that to be negative, but I do feel like that's where I got to with this story. I love the scene with the van. I love the scene with her brother slash robot. I love the scene with Chris Pratt trying to just be himself in this film. But I do feel like, other than the fact that Millie Bobby Brown and Chris Pratt are in this film, it is very hard to understand the whole point of it. I do like that there was a bit of a point in the beginning of this film, and that's that humanity moans about technology taking over and taking people's jobs and such and such. But I like that they play it back on humanity in this film, basically pointing out, well, you may say that, but if it wasn't for the robots, a lot of your tasks wouldn't be fulfilled. Of course, as I said earlier, I'm just going to say it here, I am going to rate this film very low. Not because the actors weren't brilliant in it, but just purely on the basis that I was really struggling towards the end of this film to feel some kind of satisfaction with the whole purpose of it. As I said, the robots were funny, the robots had their moments, so did some of the humans, some of their compassion, some of their ideas in the film. for how humanity has been changed by its world, but I really didn't feel much of a payoff towards the end of this, and that is why I only give this a 4 out of 10. I know it's very low, but that is my reason why. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in another film review. Until then, goodbye, and stay beautiful.